Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Just getting things set up as we speak, so it'll be good to go in a few moments. Okay, so, there we go. Bring that all up. Lovely jubbly. Right then, so, it has been a few days. THG did have a bit of illness, which, fair enough. I was like, only the other week I had a bit myself, so there's been a bit of a delay. But there's been no issues there. At least he's had extra time to go over the turns, gave everybody some time to catch up on the series as well, which is fantastic. So hello there, No Name, Cursor, AT, Icy Chrome, Snipers, and Lander. How you guys doing? I tend to see these familiar names always at the beginning of the stream. I always find it incredible that you guys can make it basically whenever, so that's awesome. Glad to see you. Okay. So, I've got the save. I've not seen what the name of this save actually is, so this one's going to be quite fun, so I wonder what it's going to be. Okay, so we're looking for 10 max effort over Singapore round 2. Oh, that's awesome. Sup there, I know how you do, my dude. Sup, Blackstar, how are you? I hope you are feeling better as well, there, Black. Hello, pirates. Yep, I did have a bit of a chat with THG this morning, actually. I don't know why, but I was up at about 5 o'clock in the morning. And we did have a little bit of a chat, so it was quite funny, actually. Yeah. Let's see, I'll read you the message that he actually sent me. I find it rather amusing anyhow. Gives people a chance to get into the stream as well while we wait. Okay. So this was our discussion at something like 5 o'clock in the morning. Wait, where is it? Here we go. So here put, I'm nervous, I'm going to try and give you another bloody nose over Singapore. Last turn was the first turn you did any damage to the runway. It's still open, but I need to try and stop it from getting worse. I shouldn't be telling you this, but I'm nervous. I'm going to put on the surface calm and ready to drop bombs. So I love the fact that we have this like back and forth. Hello there, Dictator and French. How you guys doing? Okay, so I think we're about ready to get into this, and so we'll get started right away then, shall we? Rather exciting. I don't particularly know what to expect from this turn, but I think we should have another nice turn, ideally. Hello there, Justin. Yeah, we should be hitting Singapore fairly hard. The most important thing is we're not actually using G3s as well. He did actually say to me that, well, I mean, I'm going to go with the actual name, the actual save, that he's going with some sort of effort to stop us over Singapore, which ideally should really work against them, considering that we're only using the army bombers. Right, during loading. Interesting. And we'll have to check on that one. Oh! Why does I-10 do this to me? How many times has the I-10 missed a target? I think she sunk one ship during her entire time off of fucking Australia. It hurts. It actually really hurts. I wish she'd actually hit something with those torpedoes. That's irritating. Would it be nice had we hit something? Right, patrol boats. We are seeing other craft here. Okay, looks like I-4 may be potentially damaged here. So far rattled, but it looks like we are able to escape without damage. We are seeing ships over here, which is rather interesting. Yet it would be nice to sack the captain there, because it's happened multiple times. Multiple times she's missed. Merging over there, okay, that's good. Lot of task forces merging, actually. Those would be the destroyers. Now, the Moonlight is currently at 64%. We are seeing the weather forecast in thunderstorms, which should potentially work to our advantage, depending on the actual theatre in which it takes place. Okay. Quite nervous. Quite nervous. I don't think we have too much to be worried about. But it's one of those things, isn't it? Oh, there we go. Not the greatest target, but at least it is something, and it does announce our presence over here. Now, we did launch 2 torpedoes. One of them did hit. The second one actually didn't. However, at least we're not, like, wasting torpedoes, so that's quite nice. Yeah, she probably has stolen some of the American torpedoes. Oh, she just can't hit. She just cannot hit with anything, but that's quite nice. Now, I don't know... Yeah, she goes down, actually, quite quickly there. That's a good hit. Yes, lots of task forces merging there. Okay, air operations AM. Right, Diamond Submarine, 8 allied ships, 6 allied ships, shadows on the water, 5 allied ships near New Zealand, it looked like. Right. We are seeing bad weather being cancelled here. Hello there, John Murphy. How you doing, my friend? Yes, here we go. Now, this is going to be quite nice. So this is the first time we've actually seen our KI-43-1Cs in action here. So this is going to be a really nice way to announce their presence. And his bombers are unescorted as well, so this should be quite nice. Okay. Issue is the defensive fire. The Oscars, of course, being unarmored, they're not quite as potent as Zeros, but they do definitely have more gun value than the other Oscar variants. So it's the second best of the Zero that we have, really. I think they're flying about 20,000. No, about 15,000 feet, actually. Right, diving at 5,000 feet there. Ideally, we give them a bloody nose, anyway. Indeed. Finally nice to see them in action. That's one of them down. Another damaged. Another one down. It is a nice fighter. It is a very nice fighter. I mean, the issue is it's like there is a lot of defensive gunfire there from the bombers, but we've still taken out some of his planes, damaged other ones, so possibly chances for those to not actually make it back to their airfields. Not a bad result. Now, of course, he is trying to actually hit our forces. Ah, he's actually hitting our forces over here then. Okay, interesting. So at least 1 aircraft destroyed, 2 aircraft destroyed, sorry. So he's flying here about 5,000 feet. That would make sense then. So I think we engaged at about 15,000 feet. Yeah, 15,000 feet. So we may have to alter our altitude here, potentially split up this squadron and have them vary their altitudes. Would make for a more effective interception. Wow, okay. So, we are seeing now KI-43 pitted against the H-81A3s. Now, we do have 18 of them. Let's hope that we might be able to do this. 17 of them, we do take some damage here. Wow. Not a good result for us so far, actually. Not the greatest showing on their first appearance. Jesus. He's dived on me from 20,000 feet. I think he has the actual altitude. No, actually, Yeah, not the best appearance. But yes, as Kursar points out there, at least we can see that the Flying Tigers are back in China. I'm glad that we did escort this raid here. It's a shame to have lost those fighters. I was hoping that we wouldn't lose them so easily. Now, ideally, we can still get through here and make sure the bombers make it. We are going to be hitting the airfield, so we'll see how it goes. Bloody hell, I'm losing quite a few of them, aren't I? I think this might be due to the altitude, potentially. I'd be very interested to see at what altitude they're flying. And of course, I think we're down to about 12,000 feet. So it would potentially make sense. We'll have to favour potentially higher altitudes then when it comes to actually running the escort missions over here. Now, I didn't actually anticipate the Flying Tigers to be back here. Yeah, seems that way. Bloody hell. He's going to be happy with this one. Yeah, definitely not happy about the amount of Oscars being destroyed here. Really bloody not happy about that. Especially after we've waited so long for them to come into action, so that's not exactly the greatest showing from them. I think that's due to the altitude here. Well, if we make it through and damage the actual airfields, we should ideally take out some of his fighters as well. So I think it's going to be one of these of where we suffer, but in the long run we'll be able to take out the airfield here at Changsha. They're not doing too badly to say they were outnumbered. I think it's the fact of the altitude. I'm going to be really interested to see what the altitude difference is. I mean, these are very maneuverable fighters as well, but it definitely seems the altitude has been the issue here. Ideally, we can take them out if we hit the airfields. At least we're not too far away from our own airfield. Bloody hell, another one. Yeah, unfortunately so. I hate losing fighters like this because it makes him, it gives him hope. As long as the bombers make it through, we'll be okay. We'll probably lose a couple bombers here, but depending on how the results go, we should be alright nonetheless. Yeah, they're heading for cloud cover. Yeah, it seems like the altitude difference has diminished as well now. Diving on them. Yeah, they're doing pretty well so far. And of course they've lost quite a few of them, but well, if the bombers make it through, that's all that matters. Hurts, definitely hurts, but we are going to make it through here, so that's a good job. And it seems the bombers are going to make it through intact as well. Yeah, we should be alright here. Yep, here we go. So they did actually succeed in their mission, so ideally we can destroy some of these aircraft here on the runway. Yeah, these are the newest Oscars, but then again, I think it's due to the actual altitude difference. So what we'll have to do then is... yeah, imagine. Hello there, Fud. Okay, so supposedly 5 of them destroyed. I think a few of them might be able to make it back, but it's not good to have lost so many. We did get a few hits on the actual runway, so that's quite nice at least. What's up there, Blinson? We've just seen the actual Ki-43-1C introduction for the first time, and they didn't do too particularly well, but I think that's down to altitude. Yeah, 10,000 feet, so I think that is why we were so badly mauled. Yeah, they were at 20,000 feet. So altitude difference is major. We'll definitely change that from the next turn then. Oh, why'd you go and not... yeah, thank God for that. Withdraw you for... oh, okay. Well, surprised they made it through, and surprised they made it out alive. And the Ki-21s are actually in Malaya. Hoping we'll see that raid shortly. We should do anyway. Ideally the weather doesn't cancel it. Might see it in the PM then. Come on, where's the airstrike? Right, here we go. Right. So it definitely looks like he's going for maximum effort combat air patrol. We do have 39 zeros here though, so I think, and the fact is we have them all from the start, so I think we'll be able to do quite well here. It looks as though the A6M2 zeros and the Ki-21s have been split up. Yeah, a fair amount of time actually. Well, to be fair, not 15 minutes entirely, we did have a couple minutes of talking actually. Right, this is going to be quite nice. We should be able to actually destroy the vast majority of these fighter cover here. We'll have the other A6M2 squadron as well to join, I'd imagine. We do see one destroyed here. It seems as though he's actually altered his altitude here. So this is going to be a rather interesting fight, I'd say. Yeah, 17,000 feet. Yeah, lots of different models here. There we go. We do definitely have the numerical advantage here. Yeah, he's definitely altered the altitude. Yep, 20,000 feet. It looks like he has a varied combat air patrol as well. This is pretty much a dogfight. 20,000 feet there, diving on A6M20. I think we'll be able to make it through. We do have another squadron of fighters to come, as well as additional bombers. Ideally, all the bombers are escorted, but if we can destroy a good amount of the combat air patrol now, we'll be good to go. See, each of these fighters that we do damage is another fighter that can be destroyed on the airfield then. So we don't have to destroy them in the air, but if we can actually force them to withdraw to the airfield, we could hit them with the bombs then afterwards. 12,000 feet. Oh, they're amongst the bombers now. That's not good. I think we do have a fight on our hands. 2 down so far. 3 down. Not quite the Turkish shoe that we were hoping for. I'm rather surprised that the actual zeros didn't do better here. Yeah, morale. We do have more. Oh, are we talking about the actual Allied forces? Oh no, actually turned away, didn't I? I'm very surprised they did make it past the actual fighter cover here. It just seems like there is so many. They must be at different altitudes as well. We'll speed up results and see how things turn out. So we do make it through with 10 bombers, which is still, it's not great numbers, but at least it's something. There we go, hitting the airfield again. Okay. I'm surprised that we didn't have a better showing there. Seems to be this turn our fighters are just not doing as well as we would have hoped. Yeah, not much there. We'll see what that continues to be like. 8 of them make it through. The difficult part is really trying to get coordination. The reason why our squadrons are going in at different times is due to the lack of coordination. We are doing everything we can, but it might be due down to... it might be down to the actual bloody... morale, etc. Okay, at least we have 24 zeros. Not particularly happy, as you guys can imagine. But then again, we can't expect perfect results, can we? Right. Ah, thank you very much there, folks. Yeah, definitely was hoping for better results there, but we'll continue it. I think we may have to take a look at potentially having the bombers rest. It's down to the issues of bloody morale as well. Definitely not the show that we were hoping for, it seems. But nonetheless, we'll continue it. We have obviously inflicted losses on his own fighters this turn. So we'll have to keep up the pressure. There's no real way about it. We have to keep up pressure. I'm not happy about losing bombers, but there's no getting around it. Possibly so. Bombardment attack over here. So we can see here, his two forces aren't too particularly strong, so we should be able to take that. Yeah, we should be able to push them out in time. Bombardment attack of Wu Chao. Okay. Gaining a measure of his strength here. Possibly so, but the issue is, if we allow him to actually repair the airfield, then our progress is lost. We'll continue. We need to keep up the pressure. Okay, so we see another allied shock attack here at Mersing. Interestingly enough, we aren't seeing a lot of our own assault value, which is really quite strange. Ideally we hold on, but it's not looking particularly welcoming right now. I don't know why we've seen a lot of zeros here. I don't know if Mersing will hold this turn. We do hold. Thank God for that. I do find that rather interesting that the assault value was displayed as so low. I mean, it's shown here 96, so I think that might be like a visual thing. Fatigue's not helping us. We did actually suffer some heavy casualties there. Yeah, roughly similar casualties to the Allies here. This is getting rather interesting. We are barely holding on, but the fact is we are holding on, so that's good news. Each day that we buy here at Mersing does buy us additional time to make our way down the Malayan Peninsula. Okay, shock attack over here then, try and destroy the 51st Chinese Corps. Have they just been annihilated? I think they've just been completely annihilated there. So that's quite good, at least we finally dealt with that unit there. So I can build that unit. Okay, deliberate attack at Brunei. Good. Very good. Ah, good. Fusan's expanded. So I'm getting a bit caught up by words now. I'm not too particularly happy with the turn, but then again, I don't know why I'm unhappy. I think it's due to the fact that we did take obviously losses, but the fact is we have achieved what we wanted to achieve there. Obviously not to the extent that we were hoping for. Of course, we did have a good time last turn due to the fact it was unopposed. Do you think it might be wise to bomb Mersing for a turn? I don't think it's worth it. It's one of these things. I think we need to just continue the pressure on Singapore. It did. At least we did take Brunei, so at least that's something there. At least we know how to respond to his movements now. I suppose it did have to come at some point in the future that he would find a way to oppose us. Looks like he's really going for like a general withdrawal of different elements within China. Okay, so interesting turn then, interesting turn. We didn't actually see all of our bombers actually fly this turn, which is intriguing. Okay. Morale is really quite low, which is not particularly great. Fatigue's not too bad. Yeah, the Medan raid didn't go through. I think the weather's not actually helped things at all. Let's take a look at this. Yeah. It looks like bad weather over here, bad weather here. Heavy rain. I think it might have been due to the weather, potentially. Aircraft losses? Sure. We'll take a look at that. That fucking hurts. Ah, well. So we lost 24 K-21 2As, 8 K-43s, 6 A6 and 2 zeros. He has lost 6 Buffaloes, 4 B-339s, 4 SB-3s. Indeed. Okay. We need to continue nonetheless. We are going to lose numbers, so don't get too stuck over just a couple numbers there. Yeah, looks like a lot of the raids were stopped, as pointed out by Lander. We did notice it, but we didn't have enough time to actually take a closer look. But the interesting thing to note here, he has stopped the Catalina raids, or potentially they didn't go through. But overall, we have still made it through to the actual airfield, which is what is important. We have knocked out more of his actual fighters. We do have the ability to outdo him in terms of fighters, so we do need to bear that in mind. Okay, so with Brunei under our control, that is another source of oil. Of course, it looks like it has been damaged. The port's been damaged. We do have our AV over here at Marie, so that's good news. Yep, so what we can do is put the aircraft tender in there and actually look towards actually having aircraft based here. And Nadakazi is actually going to arrive next time, which is great job. Okay, looking forward to that. We'll look at actually basing some aircraft over here to actually hit his airfields over here, I'd say. Right. I do find it interesting that there's supposedly a heavy cruiser there. I really doubt that. Right, 17 bombers over here, 17 fighters, 26 bombers. We definitely do need to hit his airfield here. That will be going through at some point in the future. It would have gone through this time, but it just seems like the weather wasn't in our favour. Okay, somebody's moving out over here. Let's take a look elsewhere then. Can we see pilot losses too? Can we see pilot replacements? I'd assume we'll just go for a 1-to-1 before we go through the operations log. Aircraft in Brunei, how big can the base be? This one over here is a size 3. Possibly so. Possibly so. I find it rather interesting. We'll take actually a look at the combat log. I do think he was actually operating at a higher altitude. I think what we might have to do then is stop the A6 to rest and just obviously pack the numbers in there. The bombers are hurting, we know that, but we need to carry on. We can replace these bombers, but he can't replace Singapore should it fall. We may take a look at actually potentially increasing the altitude of the bombers. It may be worthwhile losing the possibility of actually... It's one of these questions, isn't it? I mean, do we proceed this with a sweep? But if we proceed with a sweep, there's not always a guaranteed chance that they'll go in before our bombers. But we'll have to do something. We may go for a sweep. We might go for that. I just think we need to continue. It's going to look like it hurts. Any aces? That's a good question. Okay. Top pilots. Nope, still 4 kills here. We did lose one of our great pilots here. No aces as of yet. Yeah. So I think what we might have to do then is possibly run the A6 on 2 zeros. I think we'll increase the altitude of the bombers to about 15,000 feet. I think we'll lose some of the accuracy on the bombing there, but I think it'll be worthwhile because then we could run a squadron of A6 and 2 zeros at 15,000 feet. We could run a squadron at 20,000 feet. Look towards actually potentially bringing the Oscars back into the escort role as well, and really try to cause some damage that way. It is going to be a costly campaign to actually neutralize the air base at Singapore, but it is absolutely essential we do. It has to be done. Okay, what are we looking at here in terms of movement? So it's going to take possibly 2 days before we arrive at Georgetown with the SLF, or at least the Naval Guard, I should say. We are marching over here to Taiping, however. It's going to take some time, but we'll arrive sooner or later, a couple of days. But once Taiping falls, then yeah, we should. Let's take a look. We do have some clear terrain over here as well. So if I put the roads on as well, it's a little bit hard to see that, isn't it? As it looks like we'll have some clear terrain here to gain some speed, but we'll have to go through the jungles. But we do have the advantage of the actual roads, so you win some, you lose some, really. Other than that, well, things have been alright. We haven't lost anything important. It would have been nice if sunk some more of his ships, but nonetheless. Though, importantly, we have arrived over here at Manila. So that's good news. So we'll be able to take Manila tomorrow, which is great. It looks like his forces are going to be cut off here as well, which is brilliant. Yep, so we've arrived at Manila. We do have a little bit of fatigue and disruption, but not too bad. We can definitely take it with this force. I mean, this is a very, very strong force. 442. So what we'll do then is we'll go with a deliberate attack. I could go with a shock attack, but I'm not entirely certain of his numbers, so I'm not going to risk it. Then it probably wouldn't be worth it. The 14th Division has arrived as well. Fantastic news. So we'll have them march upon Manila as well. Do you have plans to use Kuantan as Mersing version 2? I think when it comes to Kuantan, it's going to be to deny him another airfield, if anything. It's a nice large airfield. It would be nice to actually have the port there, because then we could, like, hop, skip, and jump to the south of Malaya. Yeah. I suppose the campaign has been soured over here due to the mistake with the bombers, but we need to continue it. It hurts that we're losing so many Ki-21s, but we need to continue. The thing is, we'll replace them in a couple months. But once we do take Malaya, well, once we do take Singapore, then that means that we can actually move into the Straits of Malacca. We'll have a very large airbase and a very large port to use ourselves. So once Singapore does fall, the situation becomes much, much easier. And of course, the fighting here in Sumatra and Java will be done mostly by the actual ground troops. Tenno Haika Banzai there, Lupus. Good to see you, my man. Okay, so Muri is complaining about lack of supplies, but that's not an issue. We can increase that quite quickly. But we have Brunei, which is good. At least we have our toehold now in Borneo. About 2 days too late. Obviously, then we did have a mistake there at first in terms of the do not unload command. Okay, let's take a look over this way. Lots of activity. I've not seen any allied ships, though we are seeing... Right. So we are seeing the former task force. I think that was, what, 2 light cruisers and a destroyer. That's interesting. I don't know if they've been spotted. It doesn't look like they've been spotted, so that's actually very interesting. Okay. I think we lost something loading up somewhere. It must have been an ocean island then. Right. Kotori. I might have Kotori run full speed for 1 turn, but I'm not entirely sold of that one. We'll see. Okay, 33 knots. It'll take us a little bit of time to arrive, but once we do arrive, we'll be good to go. We can see that there's about 100 troops here. But it'd be nice to actually destroy that element of the 111th base force, I think it was. Interestingly enough, we are not seeing any activity over here at Savai, as far as we can see. Now, is our patrol plane ready to go? She's still bloody... She's still damaged. Need to get her the hell out of here. Right, looking at 3 days. God damn it. Right, rest. Just rest. Stand down. Well, I'll put on naval search, but I'm going to put on 100% rest. Do not go out. Yeah, I wanted her out of there, but we'll have to make do then for the time being. Allied submarine over here. Okay. Transports were not intercepted. We can see our 2 destroyers actually trying to catch up. Okay. We have the 15th base force over here. It would be wise to actually give them some kind of escort. Now, I do have our 2 patrol boats over here. What I'll do then is use them. They have fairly low... You're moving at 12 knots anyway, so that's not too bad. I don't know. I think it's one of these things, I mean, I'd agree on the fact that something is en route there to actually attack us at Savai, possibly. But I think it's one of these things of, he's had a few options he could have responded with. I'm surprised that he's not been bombing the airfield, but I suppose the reason why he's probably not bombing the airfield is, possibly he seeks to retake it, which would make sense. I mean, I'd probably say that's the answer. We did see some engagements, less than stellar. We saw quite a few of our own fighters shot down. For example, over here we saw, well, on this one we didn't see anything. We did see a couple of them driven away. But then over here we did encounter some HH-1s, which did see quite a lot of our Oscars destroyed due to their low altitude. Then we had a lot of our air raids cancelled due to the weather. But then finally we did see a lesser stellar result over here. The Zeros, even in greater numbers, didn't actually do a terribly great job. And we didn't really get through to do too much damage to the airfield, only inflicting very light damage. Aye, bloody lead combat. And then of course the second run saw a few more destroyed, but ultimately we'll be able to make do. I think the issue is that a lot of them were lost to the operational, which is a shame. Okay. So, the actual engineers did make it through here to Patani, so that's good news. At least then we'll be able to start working on these aircraft and get them out of here. It's unacceptable that they are in such a bad state, and the reason for this is due to the fact that Patani is not actually on the rail line. It does bloody irritate me, but we'll make good of it. Okay, we'll continue marching towards Burma. Okay, how is China looking here at the moment? Okay, so his forces are marching, of course, on from Chushian to Wenchao. How are we looking there? We're making some decent progress. What's the actual train type? Right. Shouldn't take us too long. The 22nd Division's making good progress as well. What's the train here? WD. What's WD again? I'm honestly not sure what WD is, but I'm going to assume it's probably like either Forest and Rough or something like that. Okay, major question of the turn. Is Kitabutai detected? She's not, that's good news. Did she move? Yeah. I mean, they are our toughest bombers. The thing is, it's always going to be a difficult task. There's no way to do this without losing aircraft. It's not going to happen. And so we have to just bite the bullet and just continue. It's going to hurt the bomber squadrons, but the thing is, once Singapore does fall, then we'll all be happy and we'll soon forget about the losses there. He'll have something to celebrate, but in reality, what is he celebrating? WD's Forest, right, okay. Let's go through the operations report then. That was rather interesting. Need to stop that. Bloody maintenance. A few of them written off there, which is not good. It seems that a lot of them are being written off and destroyed on the landing there, which irritates me to no end. Not terribly much happened though this turn. Okay, so we're transporting supplies here to Chichijima. Sama. Wake. So these units over here. Okay. So the airfields at a low star have been expanded. It's been expanded over here at Changtai, which is actually interesting. I don't know why we did that. Expanded over here. We'll take a look at that. Okay, these forces have been upgraded. Maya is finally ready for service again, so she can actually leave to head towards Saigon, ideally. Okay. So the only task forces that we can see here. Supposedly I can... Oh, right, there we go. It's actually hiding in Japan itself. We do also see Obviously these ones down here by Malaya. Right. Definitely transports, which is very interesting to note. No information here on Numair as of yet. I do find that interesting. So we know that, right, well, currently they're moving southwest, which I do find rather fun. So they're at least 2 to 3 days out from Fiji. I'd say about 2 days if they run at high speed. I do wish Kidabutai was in a greater state, but then again, we've learnt our lesson from running high speed too often. We'll have a situation repaired in the future. But they're still able to continue their mission. That's for sure. Okay. Put the cruiser mine layer in there. Yeah, I know, right? Okay. Yeah, I know they're heading away from Fiji, but I mean, should they actually wish to return? Okay. Kishima's arrived once again, which is fantastic. Really a big fan of these old light cruisers. They actually are very handy. Okay, so as the escorts... Yeah, the escorts have arrived, that's good news. So we are proceeding then to the Shorelands invasion, as well as to Tulagi. I'd say about 4 or 5 days there from the landings. Currently making some decent progress here. They might actually even leave Kidabutai behind unless we're careful here. We'll move up. Yep, no issues. We may want to take a look at the direction in which they're heading, possibly. Are we detected, though? That's a question. Not detected. That's good. Very good. Right. I mean, the question is, do we head to the east of the New Hebrides, or do we head into the actual Coral Sea itself? I'm probably going to say into the Coral Sea itself. I mean, if we take a look, is it F6 that displays it? Yeah, okay. So if we take a look at F6, it obviously does put us pretty close to these actual bases, so we do need to, well, be fairly distant, a couple hexes out, to try and prevent, like, coast watchers spotting us. Are you going to move directly to Guadalcanal after Tulagi and build that dot into a base? It is a good question, isn't it? I think we could definitely do that. It would be nice to have some engineers over here. Speaking of engineers, did we actually start to transfer them over to Tarawa? Yes. There we go, that's good news. So only a couple troops here of the 6 base force have been moved over. But that's fine. We'll keep them moving, and at least it's some additional aviation support. It's only 2, but at least it's something additional. Okay, have your objective set here for Tarawa, of course. But yeah, obviously the more engineers we bring, the better. So over the course of the next couple days, we'll have the base force transported. It'll take a while, but it'll be worth doing. Yeah, we are only doing it with a couple transport planes, really. Seems we are supplying Wake as well, aren't we? Okay, so Wake is not complaining about supply here. We will, of course, need more. The airfield is undamaged, which is good news. Right, tell them to stockpile. They don't need very much, though, so that's good. I do have a couple of H6Ks over here that are... Yeah, one of them be ready in a day, the other one 2 weeks. Unless we can actually increase the aviation support there. We do have our base force on its way. Half tempted to... I'm not gonna... No, I don't think it's worth it to burn their fuel. I'm a little bit tempted. But then again... Not worthwhile. We need that fuel. Overall, I'd say a good turn. We didn't have anything bad happen to us, so that's what we need to bear in mind. Okay, so we do have 2 units over here at Palmyra. That's interesting. Of course, we are pulled back from Johnston. We were aware there of items of interest at Johnston. Right, signal ops. Heavy volume of radio transmissions detected at Sydney. We're not actually that far out from the landings. We may have to have a turn of Kidabutai moving at full speed to catch back up with the actual landing forces over here. I'd rather not. So it might be worthwhile just to tell the landing forces to slow down potentially. Or even just to have them follow Kidabutai. That might be better. I'll have Kidabutai follow them, they would slow down. And then again, it's one of these. I think we'll continue at the current pace. The good news is we'll actually have a mine layer arrive with them as well, which is great. So ideally we should be able to rearm the cruiser mine layer here, or possibly bring in the assets to do so. And then we can actually start to mine Noumea. Ideally it's not actually mined itself, that is something that we do have to take into consideration. Speaking of which, I don't think we actually really have much in the way of destroying minesweepers out here, or even minesweepers at all actually. So mines are bloody dangerous out here. Bloody dangerous. How's the situation at Tarawa in terms of aircraft? There's a lot of them in bloody repair, aren't they? I find that really irritating. I suppose a lot of them might be going into maintenance due to the fact that the actual support is there now. A couple of them will be repaired next turn. Yeah, the situation looks worse than it really is. A lot of them are in for, well, maintenance. Can I build up any of these units? No, it does not allow me. Wait, Tarawa survive. I really do want to build up the force there. So that talent. Nothing particularly major. We didn't have the best turn in terms of actual bombing results, but we need to continue. We'll obviously take a look at how we can improve the situation. Right. Babel Nawab. Another one over there. Yeah, that sums it up basically. Though, we did sink a single transport over here in Java, so, we did finally take Brunei. I think it's going to be one of these things. We'll have something better next turn, like Manila will more than likely fall next turn. It looks as though the 33rd is making good progress. Yep, they should probably be about here next turn. So within the next week, I'd say we'll be marching on Clark, which is good. Right, Canada detachment, how are they moving? A few of the H6Ks like pilots. Thank you, Anno. I'll fix that situation. Right, marching over here. Currently only 980 troops, supposedly. We'll aim to take control of these bases here. At least we do have some additional resources to capture. That's nice. Okay, now can I rebuild my division over here at Takao? Don't tell me they're unpacking still. I think they might still be unpacking. Let's check. Nope, actually. Should be able to. Hmm. 16th Army. 25th Army. 25th. I wonder if it's due to the fact that they're actually not under the same command, potentially. When are we getting the H-8K called by Japanese researchers the most outstanding water-based combat aircraft of the Second World War? I like that. It's a good question, really. Not entirely sure. I'd say if we are going to be researching it, I can't remember exactly what our research plans are for patrol aircraft, but probably later on in the war, as you can imagine. I do wonder if it's actually due to their headquarters. Looks to be. I'm going to see if it actually is the headquarters. It could make sense. So I need them to join the 25th Army. We might not have the actual points available right now. So they're attached to Southern Army. $471 points, are you kidding me? Yep, it may very well come down to the bloody headquarters. That's irritating. We'll try and figure that one out, but I'm thinking kind of at the moment might be headquarters, but we'll see. Possibly. Doesn't look like anybody's unpacking, so it could very well be the actual headquarters there, which is irritating as F. Okay, how about over here on low star? Is it 2 days or was it 1 day? 1 unit over here, so we might not be able to rebuild that division either. Oh no, we can. There we go. So we finally have the 18th Division. Fantastic. Well, that's made me happier. At least we have 1 division. Right. That's good news. I mean, this is relatively unaffected division there. What are we looking at in terms of sword value? So 302. Not massive amounts there, but still nice. 21st. So we have 5th Division here. Oh, on map. Are they the ones marching? Yeah, they would be the ones marching. Have the other unit here at low star. The other forces is this... I think the rest of the 5th Division is the south, actually. Yeah. There they are. Okay, well, the good news is, what we'll do then, I could have them... I'm going to have them actually load up, because by the time they would march down here, the base will be taken anyway, so I can have them move via the actual rail lines. So we do have the 18th Division ready to move as well. Question comes down to, do we actually want to have them move strategically as well? It's a valid option. It would mean that once we did take Taiping, we'd be able to move the division straight up. And begin marching there. 40 seconds on her way to the north. Oh. Oh. Ah. Well, you'll be in Singora next turn. That's fine, then. I'll have them put in strategic mode as well, so then we'll have them all meet up at Taiping. We'll be able to have the 18th Division, the 5th Division here. So at least 2 divisions then. Of course, then we do have other forces over here, such as various naval units, the Royal Thai Army, and we of course then do have the Naval Guard, sorry, the Imperial Guards over here to the north. That is 460 AV. So I'd imagine we'd be able to bring to bear over 1,000 assault value to Singapore with just the divisions alone. Obviously we need to support them, but it'll be a bloody fight, but we'll be able to do it. Are you moving south from Kota as well? We are moving some units. I think we're moving a Royal Thai Army one, actually. And the H8K apparently appears in early 42, looked it up. Yeah. I mean, that's it. Once we do take Taiping, it's going to be a long march. I mean, this is it. It's all a lot of long marches over here. And I am interested in the Mersing situation. It does look as though he has a submarine now posted out here. We need additional supplies here, so what we might do then is fly some additional supply in there. We don't have a huge amount of assault value. That's a lot of disruption and fatigue. Huge amounts of disruption there. I think that's why we're doing so badly there, is due to the amount of disruption. I'd imagine he's probably not doing too grand even on the disruption front. So, question comes down to, it might be that they possibly break another attack. I could look if we could bring troops in there. I don't think we'd be able to, though. I think our transport's only just landed back in Kota last turn, so I don't think we'd have time. Seems stocks actually complain about lack of supply here. Yep, our escort carriers will be joining the Singapore Express. Well, quite soon. 24 ships here, so obviously we do need to move some of them out there. Let's see. Right. Vanguard's 19 ships. Yeah, we do have a lot of bloody ships here, don't we? He's got some detection over our carriers, so he's definitely running that. It does make me wonder that he probably was attempting to actually hit us with Catalinas again, potentially. Possibly considering it, but he does have detection over us. 8 bombers here. So, we know at least where the vast majority of his aircraft have been moved to. It's a shame that we actually couldn't hit it this turn, but we'll be able to hit it next turn. I think overall it's one of those of where it doesn't look like a spectacular result, but in reality it's not bad at all. Okay. So I've been able to reform the division here. Any other divisions that we were able to reform or possibly reform? I can't quite remember now. Yeah, too expensive. So we'll have to wait for the political points to come in then. Should take obviously a while. I think... I don't know, do we get 60 a turn or something like that? I think we get a few a turn. So we did finally annihilate that unit. We are still marching here. Chengchao, 157,000 troops, give or take. Right. Our forces are marching on Chengchao. Sorry, Xinjiang. The 20th and the 6th Division are in place. And we do have a standard combat air patrol. We actually did have it set up with the Ki-43-1As and etc. So should he actually attempt it again, we would be able to intercept him. So we'll keep that same mission. Let's see. 43's bloody well took a beating, didn't they? Granted, the entire squadron is not here. Well, that still bloody sucked. Move another 3 over here then. I'm sure I'll be happy with that bloody result. Yeah, I know. Thank you very much. I'll go and fix that situation now before you have a fit. Let's give them 20 and then they've got plenty. Well, actually, no, I can't. 18, fine. I suppose... Are you going to set up any sweeps over Singapore? Right. We'll send this one over to Sokven to rejoin the rest of the squadron there. That's a good question. Do we want to run sweep? I'm not going to, I don't think. At least not with the zeros. And I could, but... Yeah, some of the morale's really low here. So it'll take time, but we'll build it back up. How many ready bombers and fighters do you have? We'll take a look. So in terms of fighters, we have 101 ready. In terms of bombers, we have 68. So in reality, the numbers look worse than they really are. It feels worse than they really are. The actual fatigue on the airframes isn't bad. Did a low star increase in size? I think they did. Yeah, so low stars increased the size of our airfield, which is fantastic. That means we can actually base more aircraft here. Yep. Nice. What do I actually have here in aviation? Not enough. I think I do have, or at least some of them should have arrived. Looks like it'll take them some time, but we should be sending engineers over that way. I'll have these troops moved up over here then, and then obviously we'll take them off the rail lines and have them rest. Might as well get them moving while they're here. Okay, I'll move the actual Royal Thai Army divisions then to a low star. I'll rest them from there, I suppose, then have them loaded back on. Issue is when they're loaded strategically, they do gain that disruption of fatigue, so you do have to actually move them. I think we need to take a look at higher speeds. The two destroyers are actually really quite impressive. Yeah, they can actually support a decent troop load. So what we could do then is have the two destroyers here, as well as the 4 patrol boats, sorry, torpedo boats. So, a pretty fast task force, which is quite nice, fairly maneuverable. Happy with that actually, yep, okay. So, what can we actually, so 600 troop load, let's take a look. So I could fit the Yokosuka. We don't have a huge amount of cargo load, which is a shame. Obviously I can't take the Naval Guard too much there. I could take the rest of Yokosuka. I could obviously take elements of the 15th or the 16th Naval Guard. Question is, do we want to? I mean, the thing is he going to shock attack again next turn? He very well could do. Awesome there, dude. Okay. Right. So, if this force was to be put at top speed... 9 hexes. Yeah, we'd obviously be able to make it to Mersing. As we'd be able to make it there. Question is, would we actually be able to load up the troops fast enough to do so? I might be able to. There's of course a submarine out here, but we do have a fairly maneuverable force here. I mean, that's what, 67 maneuver. Then the torpedo boats are at 70. I mean, they of course all come with AA, which is quite nice. Doesn't like they're actually loaded with torpedoes, which is interesting. Probably so. Well, the question comes down to what do we gain by prolonging the battle here at Mersing? The reason why we'd want to continue the battle is it actually causes issues for his troops here. What we need to do then is, like, each day that we buy here means that we might have another day to march down here. I mean, you have to remember his troops are out of position as well, so that's going to take them maybe 2-3 days potentially to march back. So every single day that we buy is another day to add on to the actual time it takes for his forces actually to be back in position where they should be. So, I think it's one of these things of where it's worth doing. Because, frankly, we lost far more men out here in the oceans. And I know it's one of these things of, well, if you lost men, you don't want to lose more. But the thing is, we're not losing huge amounts. We're tying up a lot of his own forces as well. We are hurting them too, which is good. And if I leave them, well, they're dead. If I reinforce them and they last, there's a chance they survive. So, it's one of these things of, is it really throwing men into the grinder, or is it really preventing men from being ground up, really? I'd say it's worth it to send the rest of the Yokosuka. And then we'll see how we do from there. These men definitely need rest. The unfortunate thing is they don't have an opportunity to rest. Yeah. I mean, their morale's amazing. It's just the amount of disruption. But, I think it's worth it. I think if we can get additional men into Mersing this turn, I don't think we'll be able to do it this turn, but next turn. It depends, really. It all depends on whether he's actually going to throw his men out into a shock attack again. You've got to imagine that, yes, we're taking a lot of disruption as well, but so is he. And he's taken losses for this, too. If we go back to the Mersing battle, okay, so that was the one where, yeah, okay. So you take a look over here then. 67 squads disabled, 6 disabled, 7 disabled, 1 gun destroyed, 6 disabled. He's disabling a lot of our troops, but then again, a lot of his own troops are being disabled. Of course, he does have a lot of them. I mean, it looks like he has 20,000 troops there, but you've got to imagine, well, that's not 20,000 combat troops. I think it's worth it. Yeah, you look at that, 7,417 troops attacking 56 guns. If we could actually get the Yokosuka into there, let's take a look. So the Yokosuka, they have 19 guns. It's only 234 troops. Actually an armoured car, which is nice. But the fact is, potentially having this equipment there might make the difference. As having some additional MGs. I mean, these are automatic AA, which is nice. Well, AAMGs, so anti-air machine guns. It's more so the howitzers and the infantry guns I want there. The support's nice as well. I think we want to get them there. It'd be a shame to lose the guns, but the thing is, we've lost far more out here. So it's one of these questions of, do we want to have everything be for naught, or do we want to hold on at Mersing? Because we've held on a few days longer than we would have ever expected, to be honest. And each day does present different options. That's what we have to bear in mind here. The situation is definitely not static. It's absolutely fluid. And we don't know what could be around the corner. So I'd like to keep our options open. How much fighting power is still left in Mersing? So, of course, we do have it reduced, but we are down to about 55 assault value. Which is about 1,334 infantry, 1,116 second line troops. But we are holding, and we need to hold. I mean, the Yokosuka is the strongest one there. We'll keep up the defense. It's a shame that we haven't actually been able to fortify here, but you have to remember that we do have jungle here. So if we take a look, jungle. gives us twice the defensive value that we would have normally. So that's really important to bear in mind, which is why we had something like 90. Let's take a look. Bring a Naval Guard unit to block him. Well, we could actually go with Naval Guard instead of the Yokosuka. Or we could, well, we could load the Yokosuka and then load the Naval Guard. We'll see. But yeah, if we take a look over here, then... there we go. So that's why we had 96 assault value. It's due to the fact that we have the actual jungle. So what you have to bear in mind is that it looks like we only have like 55 assault value, while in reality that's actually like 110 assault value, given the actual nature of the terrain there. Of course, that is modified by actual disruption fatigue, but we have more assault value than it looks like, which is worth a lot there. It does make a massive difference. Really bloody well does. Yeah. We'll try to get the artillery in there, the additional guns, but we'll get in as much as we can do. And if we take a look, I mean, we do have the 15th Naval Guard, which don't come with any guns, so they could be loaded up fairly quickly. Issue is that these bloody troops have a lot of fatigue as well. Has THG tried using his wildebeest, and have they been effective? Well, I mean, his biplanes did sink a battleship, so they have been fucking effective. But he's not really been able to use them since, and we are trying to knock out his airbase. I wish the results had been nicer there, but hey, we'll see what it'll be like next time. Okay. I mean, we've learnt a lot since then, so we do have to bear that in mind. Okay, we need to be bold. So let's take a look then. So I'll load up the rest of the Yokosuka. I mean, the thing is, I don't want to throw anything else in there. Because I do want to have high speed, high maneuverability, so that we can actually avoid the worst of the enemy. If we have a lot of that maneuverability... we lost the battleship Haruna, unfortunately. Congo was also torpedoed, but she's actually here in Kotobu. We need to send her for repair. It's a shame, but in the Battle of Mersing, we did, of course, torpedo the Prince of Wales and Repulse. Granted, they're both not in Singapore, but we'll be able to catch them in the future. Yeah, potentially you want to run that long-range combat patrol. Okay, so I could take elements of the 16th Naval Guard. I can't load any more guns, so we'll just go with the 15th Naval Guard. And there we go. I'll have them load some supply as well. Then again, I'm not really going to be able to carry any supply, am I? So that doesn't actually bloody matter, does it? Right, verified load. Okay, accept load. Now, it looks like they're only loading the 15th Naval Guard here. But we are seeing the second being loaded. Should we get to a point at which we can actually hold the enemy back? I don't know, we could consider actually loading up a regiment, perhaps. I do have a first... I mean, we could take a look at actually loading up a 16th Naval Guard. I suppose it might be one of these things of where we really do actually commit to this. It's a hard question because obviously we come within range of all of his actual torpedo bombers then. So we'll see. Right. Yep, these guys made it. We actually do have an auxiliary repair over here, which is fantastic. And some very nice toys here. So have them disband. We'll have Maya brought out. She's still really suffering, so we do need to be very careful with her. Troop patrol boats. We haven't seen any submarines over here. Right, so mission speed, well, cruise speed, 7 knots ain't bad. Have her basically make a snail's pace over to Saigon. It may be worthwhile to actually keep 2 destroyers over here, actually. They don't have a huge amount of capacity, but it would be quite nice to actually have them available to actually defend the port, but also they could actually be used to run fast transportation, so that's actually worth bearing in mind. Okay, so the AV is docked here. I'm going to tell her to stop unloading her supplies. We are going to need them. So we'll expand into the actual base here. As you can see that we actually do have a decent amount of aviation support, so it might be worthwhile to have the Nadakazi head here to Brunei, but there's no air capacity. We have a level 2 air base here, which is only, yeah, a little bit of damage there. Not bad. Yeah, so she'll unload here, APD, and we'll keep Nadakazi here then as well. She'll be very effective. So that means we'll have, I don't know, maybe, I think the Nadakazi has what, 250? Yeah, it looks as though we did suffer some damage here to the refineries, I believe. We've only lost the 1 battleship. We've had our heavy cruisers torpedoed, but that's been the only one lost. Which is unfortunate, but hey. So is war. Okay. So yeah, what I could do here then is have elements of the infantry regiment actually move via fast transportation. As if I could actually run some reconnaissance over here, we could actually see what the enemy has. And we might be able to try and build up enough force to actually have a few elements of the regiment moved over here. Capture the base. Oh, Kuching. If I capture Kuching, then that'd be nice. Or we'll see if there's anything else worthy. Not particularly. The SLF marching there to Malban. It's going to take them a little while, but that's okay. So, the 4th Division will arrive in about 2 days. They're planning for Clark. Okay, we've already done unloading the... Ah, for fuck's sake. I can't believe how long that's taken, but oh well. Still loading oil. Okay. So the Yokosuka is out there. We also have the 11th Air Fleet as well, which is fantastic. So we have another air headquarters. Our AV and patrol boats moving there. The 21st Air Fleet is moving out. Oh, yeah, I forgot to do that. I'll do that in a little bit then. I forgot about that one. It's going to be a shorter session tonight as having some Indian food tonight, so that's awesome. Looking forward to that. So we've still got a little while until then. Try and get some progress made. Okay, let's take a look over here at Tarawa. Ah, right, so you're on your way back then. That's good. Okay, we're actually doing well on supply now. That's good to see. Why is it taking you so goddamn long to unload? Should be done next turn. Loading has been completed here. Now, I obviously would love to take Pico, but we can't do that. So I'm going to have the forces from Tano actually set out to take Kalbak. I think that's worthwhile, because then we'll take both of the bases here. Obviously there's quite some distance here, but we'll take them both. I mean, this isn't exactly a major prize, not really worth anything, but it is good to obviously have control of New Caledonia in totality. And we can then have the forces spread out here to take control of Espiritu Santo, as well as the New Hebrides. Just really take control of the island. Obviously, it does give us additional forces to hold on with then. See you later there, John. Have a good one, my friend. I'm not too particularly happy since we've lost sight of a lot of his actual naval assets. But it's alright, we'll be able to detect them sooner or later. And the issue is the amount of flying boats over here at Tarawa that are under maintenance. Though the amount of support here is going to increase, which is always good. We have some engineers, and we'll be able to load up engineers from both of these islands over here, which is great. That's very good. Right, load troops, begin loading. I should be able to manage that. Yeah, verify load. A lot of cargo. So yeah, we'll be able to manage that. Actually, what do we actually have on the island in terms of supply? 582. Don't actually carry the supply, so load only, yep. Accept load, there we go. So I'm going to set you to Tarawa. I can really make a lot of use of these AMCs. They're obviously not as durable as the light cruiser fast transports, but they are very handy. They do have a lot of speed. They are armed, but they're not armoured, so we do need to remember that. And if we take a look at the Kashima. Kashima, yeah, 25mm of armour. Nothing huge. I'd imagine it's millimeters. It's nothing huge, but it's still better than 0. So at least she's proof against, like, small arms, for the most part. I'd imagine all small arms. Yeah, I don't think most things would get through that. But it's important. Because obviously, yeah, it's having that additional range and speed available to us out here. And we are looking towards having actual paratroopers brought into the region as well to actually take certain islands. Of the other two aiders, I think they could definitely be used to aid us. It would be quite nice to actually try and, like for example, we will look towards actually invading New Guinea in the future, but we want to secure Naval. Try and sweep across here. I mean, Port Moresby is going to be one that we need to take. Indeed. I mean, once we take Noumea, actually look again at our air headquarters over there, we can actually start to line up. I mean, the thing is, we'll have the airbase, which is great. I do need to try and get some engineers there, so we'll have to look at loading up some engineers as well. Definitely. Which, then again, I should... Well, the actual headquarters would have the engineers. I could, of course, take one of these. I could even use the AMC over here for some... Yeah, the Osaka Maru. She can actually carry the 24th Aviation Engineer... Well, engineer unit down here to Noumea. That could be done. We're making 12 knots here. Okay. Right. What we'll do then is we'll have you follow Task Force 89. So they're probably going to slow down to allow Kidabutai to catch up. Right, still has detection here. Not much. I'll set... Well, I can't set the actual... Right, just continue as is then. Out that way. Right, we do have a Toho Maroon. She's nearby. What we'll do then is tell her to actually refuel Kidabutai then. It's not exactly bloody loads, is it? But at least it's something. Then retire. Yes, do that. We are starting to bring fuel down this way. We do have... Yeah, the base force. Well, that's good then. I might bring the actual base force down there then just to actually serve. It would probably be the best thing, considering that we do have all this SNLF and aviation support, naval support. Yeah, probably the best. Those combined with the actual headquarters would be fantastic, to be honest. We'll do that. It's going to be a very interesting situation, but the good thing is, once we actually do get to New Caledonia, and this is the thing, it's a lot of time until it actually happens. And then once it does happen, then things are going to happen very, very quickly. As we need to try and really make the best preparations now, really. So we'll look at Baker Island probably for the next turn. I guess I might... Yeah, I guess I'll put Katori on full speed for one turn. She'll definitely arrive at Baker Island next turn then, which is good. That eliminates another airfield for the enemy here. It also gives us another airfield to actually base ourselves at, which is actually very good, because we can actually have elements from Tallawah, from the KYJ Island, or from the Marshall Islands in general, actually transferred over here, so I could actually, in a pinch, base naval bombers there. So you'd imagine if we use the G4M1s and the G3, so we'd be looking at like 21 or 18 hexes. So I'd have range over Funafuti with bombers, and I'd have range over Canton with bombers. We'd be just shy of Savai. That rhymed. We'd be able to reach Horn Island from Baker. So that's good. Obviously from Canton, I'd be able to reach Savai. And I'd be able to reach Pago, actually. Interesting. It might be worthwhile then, actually, once we do take Canton, actually have a engineer unit potentially flown out that way. And we could look at bombing Pago, but I wouldn't do that initially. I think we'd have to really get a measure of the island's defences in terms of like air capacity, if there's indeed any air base there. Well, I mean, of course there's an air base, but I mean like units based at said air base. We don't know anything like that. We'll find out, I'm sure. It's like the bloody four corners over here. I wonder if I was to hang my pocket watch upon Suva, would it still be there? What I might do then is we could begin to load up a engineer unit from Tallawah now, and have it made ready to be transported to Baker and then to Canton. Of course, we'll have 2 engineer units come down here to replace it. Okay, not huge amounts of endurance here. Don't need it. Interestingly enough, though, we'll actually have troop transports, which is obviously what we need. Which is very, very handy. And we do have a fair amount of supply here as well, so obviously the task force itself is 3,378, so that's nice. So we'll begin loading the actual troops over here now immediately. Now, I could tell them to load up... Why the fuck is there 13,000 units of supply here? That's a lot of fucking supply. Wow. Okay. Yep. Yep. Load up. Fairly surprising. Didn't think we'd had that much supply on one of these islands. I was expecting it to be something like... You look over here and be like, what, 582 supply? Just 13,000 tons of supply. I mean, who'd even notice that? And then 5,000 tons here. That's a lot of bloody supply, you know. Interesting. That's actually quite handy. That means that we do have more supply than I actually was counting on here in the area. Bloody good news. Bloody good show. Okay. Of course, we need fuel over here. That is on its way. Let's take a look over here at Tokyo. Loading fuel. Good. The Rabal mission has set off. Very good news. And these guys over here will be able to use those actually in KYJ. Definitely. They'll be really quite handy. I mean, I could actually use them down here as well, because that would actually help with rearming, repair, that sort of jazz. So all good stuff that we could always use. There's never a point at which we'll not find that useful, so I'm happy about that. Right. Okay. Continue to make plans. Yeah, this island can fit so much spoilage. Right, our tanker's over here. Loading fuel. Loaded up here. See, the really good news is we actually do have range to Naval from truck. So I can actually use our bombers to support the actual efforts at truck, which is actually very, very important. Really very important. What we're doing really out here in the South Pacific is we are really, for the most part, trying to establish actual air bases. Once we have, once we have the necessary air bases, once we have the necessary ports, that's when the real operations really can begin. Because from that point on, we can actually start to subject Suva to bombings, Nadi to bombings. We'll really try to annihilate him on the ground here. I don't need the airfields intact initially. It would be nice, it would be, but I don't need it. If we can take his units out, we bloody well will do. I do find it very interesting. It's like, let's take a look at distance here. So 17 hexes. So two days at top speed, they'll be able to make it back. But the thing is, they're not going to be heading back. So let's see. So their range, let's assume they're heading to Auckland, is 12 hexes. So it's going to be at least 2 days. Even with full speed, that's going to be at least 2 days travel to Auckland. So if we take a look at this then, so should he make it to Auckland, probably rearm there for a turn. He might, I don't know, give or take a turn. It might be a round trip. Yeah. We might see then, so 2 days to Auckland, day to rearm potentially, and then, what, 4 or 5 days back to Fiji, if not traveling at full speed? That's a long time. That is a long-ass time. I mean, that is a good result there. What you have to bear in mind here, guys, is the fact that he's retiring these ships to New Zealand. And of course, he doesn't necessarily have to be sending them there to rearm. But he's sending away 2 light cruisers. We really have to focus on the fact that this is 2 light cruisers. These are not patrol boats. These aren't even destroyers. These are light cruisers. They're not the most deadly warship, but they are a warship, and they are something that is armed with superior gun mounts than destroyers, typically anyway. So the question comes down to, what does this actually suggest about his frame of mind here in the South Pacific? Well, it's one of these things of, if he felt he was direly threatened, I don't think he'd be sending away cruisers, even if they were lacking armament. I don't think he'd be sending them away if he was, well, if he felt critically threatened. So I think he knows the threat is there, but I think he definitely feels he has time to do this. And he may very well have time, but how much time does he really have? So if we take a look at this then, so obviously we'll take a look at the new mail landings. Now, of course, we are making our top speed here of 3 hexes per day. We could potentially take some time off by splitting the forces up further, but I don't think that'd be a very, very good idea. But it is an option. So if we take a look here then, so we can see our range to Noumea is 30 hexes, which you know is not a lot. That's not far. So we'll be then about 10 days. 10 days. That's not long. It's not long at all. Now, of course, Kirubutai. She doesn't make as much speed as she once did, but she's still moving 4 hexes per day. So, of course, she's about, what, 36 hexes out. So I'd imagine she'll be there in a similar sort of time frame. So the thing is, depending on his speed... Yeah, I know, right? So depending on the actual speed then of his turnaround at Auckland, let's take a look then. So 36 hexes divided by 4 then, so it'd be there 9 days with Kirubutai. Obviously, For example, if we were to travel at full speed, so 8 hexes per day, we'd be there in about 4.5 days, so either 4 days or 5 days. Obviously, we're not going to do that. But let's say, for example, that we travelled, I don't know, like 3 days at 4 hexes, so take 12. So let's say 4 hexes minus the 12 then at 3 days. And then if I was to minus, I don't know, turn at full speed, that takes us down to 16 hexes. Another 8, yeah, would be within range then of Kiributai's attack planes. So we could be there in about 5 days. If we, I don't know, it depends really what we want to do, how much fuel we want to save. But we will have options. It's like, we could be there much sooner. We could be there in half the time if I wanted. Which we could manage. We could do it. It cost me a lot of fuel. It wouldn't be worth it on a front of fuel usage. It's not going to be worth it in that regards, I suppose is a better description. But it could be done. That's the thing we have to bear in mind. It could be done. I don't want to do that, but it could be. We might consider having 9 days, maybe 8 days of mission speed, and potentially then towards the last day having a turn of full speed to really get positioning, to really have Kiributai arrive in the area first potentially. But the good news is by that point at least we should have then Baker Island, Canton Island, which then actually does give us the range to actually start to use our patrol planes. We do need to see about actually getting something sent to Funafuti, so perhaps we could take a look at actually having another engineering force, really, rather than land here at Tarawa, because we have a base force on its way here. It's going to take some time, but it's going to be transported here to Tarawa over a couple of days. So it might be that we actually take the engineers from over here and over here as well, and potentially have one of them sent over here to garrison like Canton Island or Baker Island, and one of them over here at Funafuti. Though of course I don't have an airbase, I would then at least have something in terms of aviation support. I do have the AV, so that's a really big thing. Actually, I could just send the bloody AVs, couldn't I? Yeah. We currently have 2 of them here. One of them is only 13 knots. Well, 13 knots. But we do have 18 knots over here. The thing is, she can, of course, load her tender. And she can actually carry smaller float planes. Such as Jakes. I might even want to have her dispatched now. See, this is what I love about this game. We have options. So very many options. But we have them. Right. What's our troop capacity here? Oh, phenomenal, actually. Very nice. Very nice. Right, what speed are we making here? 3 hexes per day. And you are 58 from Naval. Let's work that out. So about 19 days, 19 to 20 days out from Rabaul. I think in some ways it might actually be worthwhile making some kind of, like, document. It might be, actually. It could be a good way to actually keep us, yeah, I could actually make myself, like, a sort of operation calendar. That could be worthwhile. It's the 28th of December now, so all of this is going to happen in the new year. I'll be able to rebuild the naval guard there. That's good. Right then. What we need to take into consideration as well is we are going to have new troops arriving. So if we take a look at our reinforcement schedule. Well, that's nice, isn't it? We might. Let's take a look. What sort of numbers can I expect there? And if we compare that to the actual engineer units that are already here, like for example, take a look at the one over here at Tarawa itself. So we could expect something in the region 400 to 500, give or take. That's actually really handy then. So this is actually fantastic. So by the time we've actually loaded up the initial units, I mean, you'll not be able to take any Elvers, but it would be good. You could actually take this engineer unit straight to Tarawa, and you could actually return over here. That's actually fantastic. So this is really good timing. So possibly next turn, we'll have them. Indeed, still organising unit. So they might arrive next turn, they might arrive a turn after, but they are going to arrive shortly, it seems. When do I gain this, the base forces, actually? I gain some additional SLF over here at Saipan. Hong Kong detachment in 4 days. Right, yeah, and in 4 days as well, this is great, so in 4 days we'll have a lot of units arrive actually. So in 4 days we'll have these base forces arrive, which is going to be absolutely bloody amazing. So the 31st Special Base Force, so that is built up of varying elements of SLF as well as engineers. Super useful. Very large unit there. Very good. I mean, this is going to be the future of all the SLF units. Very nice. The 2nd Raiden Regiment will arrive as well, actually, in about 18 days. The final element of the 84th Naval Guard will arrive at Saipan in a week. Nice. Yeah, additional Naval Guard will arrive, SLF will arrive. Plenty of them at Saipan, which is good. Some over here at Truck. We'll have another base force over here to actually use, Yokohama. 4th Air Division. Brilliant. Then additional infantry at Shanghai. Engineers. Port units always very good. Naval Guard, Naval Guard. Plenty of Naval Guard. Nothing massive, but it's nice. When do I gain my actual next fighter squadron? So I gained some A5M4s in 29 days. Zero squadron in March. Sorry, no, April. Yeah, more zeros in April. That's nice. Yeah. Well, the good news is, what I can actually do here, then, is we are going to be only traveling down to Tarawa. So, this AMC makes about 3 hexes per day. So, yeah, not bloody long at all. And we do have plenty of actual troop transport over here. So, I mean, we could actually just wait and actually load them all up and have them all moved in one go, which is actually very fuel efficient. I like that. Yeah, I'm really happy. I think this is actually working out. We'll actually have the forces in the area to actually really build up here. And we have plenty of squadrons. We do have another 2 squadrons should we actually really feel it necessary. Even another G4 squadron should we really feel necessary to move them here. I don't think so. I think having a G3 and 3 G4 squadrons is plenty enough. We'll be able to make good on our promises over here. I mean, of course, we'll have Kiributai, which ideally will be able to devastate the US naval assets in the area. That's all we need to do. I think once we have established ourselves in this area. So it's going to take some time to establish ourselves, but once we have troops on the ground at Noumea, so once we have troops on the ground at New Caledonia, what we need to do really is establish the bombers. Once we can establish the bombers, once we can establish the actual base force there, then it becomes a very interesting situation for him. Because, well, he's not going to have... I mean, he could base bombers at Fiji, but that's a dangerous situation for him. Especially considering that Kidabutai would be sort of hanging on the area. I think what we need to do here really is eliminate his airfields. I think that's what we must do. If I eliminate his airfields in the area from which he could strike at me, then that really does take a lot away from him. For example, he does have a base over here at Norfolk Island, so I think that would be either... we either have to take that, which I'd like to do, or we annihilate the airfield. But really... we have a strong position that is actually growing. The fact that Savai's not been hit is really remarkable. Supply usage isn't bad, actually. I think, depending on the situation, this may come back to bite him in the arse. So that's 68, well, that's 60 assault value there. I mean, each additional day, these troops get to increase their planning bonus, which is really worthwhile. So, very happy about that. I think it'll come back to bite in the arse, potentially, because we could actually use this unit. Once we do take control of the area, I'd have the free use of this unit to then move it around, take over islands. What if we take a look? So, Nadi and Suva, they must be annihilated. Beyond that... it seems the only other airfield... yeah, Manila Savai. That would be nice. I wish I still have 2 cruise miners. I suppose we should have tried to pull them back. But then again, this is it. It's hindsight's 2020. So this is it. We will have a mine layer being sent in with the New Caledonia force. The force at... well, yeah, the force will be landing over here at Noumea. But yeah, but having taken Savai really is worthwhile. You can see he's actually running low-level detection over us, which is interesting. The good news is as well, I could even potentially drop off some engineers here, and due to the fact that we have an undamaged airfield, I could, with some actual engineers, or even an AV, just host some fighters, really. Just some like 8.5s or something like that. And when will the troops survive run out of supplies? To be honest, it looks as if they're drawing on 150, but it doesn't look like the numbers are dropping, so I don't know whether we actually are gaining a supply from something else or what, but it doesn't look too terribly bad. And the good news is, once we do take control of these islands over here, I could even have supply flown in from the air. I might even have troops flown in from the air, to be honest, like engineers perhaps. We have so many options here, and I think it's a very interesting situation. I think he knows the threat is very real, but I don't think he quite understands what the threat is, which is understandable considering that we have been in the area for quite some days now, and he's not seen a whole lot. He did see the operation start off rather with a bang. Rather, he saw forces making a desperate gamble over here to survive, which we did take the actual base itself, which was fantastic. And then, of course, we did see Canton Island shift back, we then took Funafuti, we then took Nauru Island, Ocean Island. Baker should fall next turn. I'm somewhat tempted to run top speed over here, but I don't think it's worthwhile. We're already making good progress anyway, so why waste additional fuel when we need to get back anyway? Indeed. So he's going to be losing in the next couple of days the Shorelands base to Lagi. So what are we looking at in terms of... we were looking at 14 hexes. You make 2 hexes per day. See, I could actually look at increasing the speed of that force. Possibly so. I think what we'll have to do then is I'll probably have to make a document either after this stream or next stream. And we'll look at the sort of timetable we have here. So I think once we actually make a crude timetable, I think that actually really help with our organization and actually really help us to really figure out what we need, where we need it, when we need it, and how much. I just built a model version of USS Hornet. It's a right log when I did its SWAT trials. That's pretty awesome, dude. I like it. Okay, so if we're making 2 hexes per day, so 14... I mean, that's going to be what? Fucking... I don't know why I'm even looking at a calculator for that. It's obviously fucking 7 days. Now, obviously, if we did 3 hexes per day, we could be there about 4.5 days to 5 days. What did we say that would make too largy? 13 hexes we make, 2 hexes per day. I could potentially get away with running them on higher speeds towards the 6.5 days. We might try and work it out how to actually get them to arrive at roughly the same time. Yeah, Invasion Simulator 2019 welcomes you. So that colour, how you do, my dude? Weebs. Fairly decent, actually. Fairly decent. Yeah. I think what I'm going to do then, after the stream is done, I'm actually going to go ahead and try and come up with like a rough invasion documentation. I think it's going to be one of these things of where I might reluctantly share it. It's one of these things of, I don't know. I don't think anybody would ever let any of that information out, but we can't be too careful. But again, I'm sure you guys will be able to work it out yourself. So, but again, I'm sure you guys are trustworthy. We have a lot going on here. Yes. So let's take a look. So you'd make 2 hexes per day. You're carrying over 1,000 tons of supply, which is fine. That's what we need. I could make a little bit more speed then if I wished. So we're looking at 16, 17 days there, something like that. About 18 and a half. And do the Allies actually have decent naval attack planes in the beginning? The 2 to 3 times I started with the Eisenhower got hit, even against merchants or anything other than swordfish or wildebeest. Yeah, the fucking biplanes are just stupidly good. I don't know what it is, but they're just really, really good. He does... I mean, this is it. He does have competent attack craft. It's really down to the quality of the pilots, for the most part, but they are capable. And we have to obviously bear in mind that it was the British at Taranto that destroyed a lot of the Italian Navy, so these aircraft are bloody usable. They are definitely decent. Of course, obviously, the Bismarck, hunting the Bismarck, that sort of thing. Right. I think we just really have to take a look at the speeds at which we move in. We'll put together a rough timetable. But we can expect that the operations that we want done now should be done within the next 2 weeks, give or take. I'd imagine that's probably a fairly accurate assessment of the timetable we have here. Right. See, what we might even end up doing here is depending on the situation. See, the advantage of loading up 2 units, and with them all being on a, like, each unit is on a different ship. No 2 units share the same ship, so that's handy. So what I could potentially do then is actually have one, depending on the actual information here. I mean, everything depends on the information. Everything depends on that. Depending on the situation over here at New Caledonia, if we can actually gather enough information, and should it be deemed doable, I could even have a force actually split off from the New Main invasion to land here to come back and secure it. So then obviously this force which would be heading down there towards the New Hebrides could then instead be tasked elsewhere. So, it does come down to a few... I think what we need to do is we'll come up with an actual document, have like a good timetable, and then from that we'll be able to really work out a lot of things and really put together like a really accurate, clear picture. I could even come up with a series of war plans, which would be really cool actually. Like do a little bit of documentation. It'd be nice. It'd be a nice little AIR sort of thing. That would be quite handy. Okay. I think we'll go for that. But yeah. Basic question, how do you transport engineers from one location to another? And like any unit really, So, for example, you take a look at the AMCs over here via Sakamaru. She's loading up the 24th Japanese Navy Air Force unit. Yeah. So that's going to obviously take some time. I mean, of course, this unit does have a load cost. If we take a look. So she has a load cost of 1,113 troop load, 300 cargo. So, obviously, yeah, it's going to take a little bit of time, maybe a day or two to load them up. We load them up like any other unit. Other AMC is actually closing in. Of course, we do have to worry about the submarines around here. Yep, since these guys in for repair. Okay. So I do have on board 210 troops so far. And this is it. Obviously, with this AMC, we'd be able to make 4 hexes per day. A thought crossed my mind, man. A really naughty thought crossed my mind. Of like, would it be worthwhile having the regiment actually head to Johnston Island? But I think that'd be too crazy. I think that'd be just way too crazy. Yeah, it's too crazy. You can't do that. Not yet. Not without any support, like. But it would be nice to have the engineer, so the regiments brought down into the area. Of course, we do have our 3 divisions over here in the Philippines. So we'll take Manila, more than likely next turn. I think a deliberate attack should be enough to take it. We do have a very good plan in here. I'm not going to go for a shock attack because I don't think it's worthwhile taking that risk, but I think we should be able to take it regardless. The 4th division is obviously going to be 2 days to unpack, but that's probably going to take them about 2 days to march up the road here. Clear terrain, and then it looks like jungle or UJ urban jungle. Fuck me, that would be pretty tough. But we'll take Manila. By the time Manila falls, the 33rd should either have already taken Cabanatuan, Chun? I don't know how to pronounce it. But yeah, that town should have fallen then. So from there, we'll have about 3 divisions to actually march up. It looks like jungle. I can't quite make it out, but I think it's jungle. As we'd have 3 divisions to converge on Clark, we'd have other forces to converge on Clark once we take control of these bases here. That'd be good. And of course, what we'll do is have a division sent down here to Mindanao to take control of Mindanao. 1 division to remain in place here with like regiments to support it, and then a division actually taken out either to be sent towards the Dutch East Indies or sent more than likely to the South Pacific. But we'll see what the situation is. I think what we need to do is really try to reform all of our divisions as just absolutely best we can. Good. Need to move that AA regiment somewhere. I really wanted to reform this division. I'm very irritated when it's the actual bloody... I'm sure it's a headquarters. I found that weird when it says just HQ here than this one, so I think it's got to be that. Yeah, organization definitely is good. Bloody Gifu. Okay, Sue's almost up to the levels that we need now. It's just going to take some time for the actual amount of supply to arrive to where it needs to be. Good, we are seeing our progress speeding up over here for the A6M3. Can't wait for that. So, we should have the A6M5 probably towards the tail end of 1942, which is going to be fantastic. It's not leaps and bounds better than the A6M2, but it's definitely an improvement. I mean, what we'll do is we'll actually take a look at that. So, Japanese aircraft. Yeah. No, I actually have the K0. Interesting. Huh. Wow, okay. Available from 45, yeah, I'm not seeing that anytime soon, or really ever. Would be nice to have the roofie. And we'll actually have them available for production from 42. We might actually consider that. It would be nice because I think AVs or converted battleship carriers could actually handle them, and it would be really bloody nice. I mean, can you imagine the battleships, so the ISEI conversions, actually having roofies actually embedded in them? That'd be really fucking effective. I mean, it'd be very nice, really, really handy. I don't know if we can actually do that, but it'd be a nice thought. Right, so let's take a look. So if we compare then the A6M2 and the A6M3 and the A6M5. So, the A6M2, your cruise speed is 207 miles per hour. A6M3 is 240, A6M5 is 230. So it's interesting that when you see a 10 mile per hour drop, but most importantly, that's still significantly better. What, 23 miles per hour there? Maximum speed 331, 338, 351. Nice increase there. Look at H8K. Will do, my dude. Okay. Altitudes 32,000, 36,000, 38,000. Climb rate 26, well, 26, 2690, well, 2640, 2690, 2810. Maneuverability 33, 33, 29. Durability 22, 22, 27. Endurance 473, 313, 363. Gun value. So it seems I actually do gain a little bit of additional gun value, which is nice. That's a nice bad boy. So the A6M5, we have the Type 99 2 cannons, which is handy. I mean, they're more effective. I mean, I can compare that to the actual current ones that we have now. So that, oh my god, we have Tom. Ah, welcome Tom, how you doing, my friend? Yeah, so Tom is one of my longest term supporters. Been trying to actually get him into the actual streams for a long bloody time. So I'd like everybody to say hello and welcome to Tom. Definitely one of my favourite supporters, and been trying to get him into the Discord and streams for ages. So how you doing there, Tom? Good to see you again. So that Snake, how you doing, my dude? So the moment we're actually comparing the fighters, won't A6M2 float fighters be obsolete later on? Oh, absolutely, yes, they will be absolutely obsolete. Obsolete, sorry. But it is worthwhile having them, because of course then we'd be able to have our converted battleships actually able to defend themselves in some small measure from the air, which is obviously what we want to bear in mind. Now, of course, the Dauntless dive bombers, the SB3, well, SPD2s, 3s, etc., and obviously other things to come, like the Devastators and the later models, they'd be very dangerous. Of course, we'd also see the bloody F4Fs. They're dangerous. But if these actual battleship carriers have some kind of integrated defense, that's very handy. I don't know if we can. It would be amazing if we could. Be very nice. Ah, that's good, man. Ah, dear. I think it's about the second or third time that I've heard you have the flu now. Not having a good time with the old illnesses there, my dude. But I hope you get better soon. Thank you guys for saying hello there. Really does mean a lot. Okay. Right, H8K. take a look at that if it is indeed. Yep, here we go. We actually do already have some of these. Not many. I mean, they are absolutely amazing. I really do wish I had more. They are available from later into 42, which is fantastic, but these guys are amazing. I do currently have... Unfortunately, I can't take them out of Japan at the moment. Where the bloody hell are they? Where are my Emily's? G-Force. I thought I actually transported some supplies over here to Chichijima. When can you convert them? Good question. Let's go find them. Okay. I think it is worth it. I know it's a controversial opinion. Controversial? Yeah, controversial. Okay, so it wouldn't be available to convert them until December 1943, so a long time from now. But I really do think it is worthwhile. I know it's a very different opinion, but I think it is worth it to lose some extra guns. And you take a look over here, so we'd have 4 on the front, 4 in the centre. As it looks as though we'd lose the back guns. Yeah, we'd lose 4 guns to the rear. But I think it's worthwhile. I honestly do think it's worthwhile. The fact is, the battleships in the Pacific War, what are they other than up-armoured, up-gunned heavy cruisers? I know that's obviously a bloody obvious statement. But the thing is, we'd be able to house 22, definitely float planes. So I don't know whether we'd be able to do the float fighters. It would be bloody worthwhile if we could. But you've got to imagine, so let's say here that we had the entire EC class upgraded. So how many is that? Try and figure it out, shall we? So, 2... I don't know if... Oh. Yep, Fuso could be done as well. Is Fuso a Hyuga? No, oh, she's a Fuso. Sorry. Yamashiro's a Fuso class. So that's 3. Obviously Fuso. 4. Mutsu. She can't. Kirishima can't. I didn't realise Kirishima was a Congo. Hiei is also a Congo. Yep. Okay, so we're looking at 4 platforms there. That's a lot of capacity. That's a lot of capacity. I know it's a controversial opinion, but you know what? I'd like to have that capacity. That's 88 float planes. Whether they be float search planes, whether they be float fighters, it's 88. That's actually really effective. Something to compare that to is to really try and win you guys over. It's, for example, let's take a look over here at the actual cruisers. So our seaplane tenders. They only carry 24 here at maximum. Effectively, we have a hybrid battleship carrier that, in effect, gives us a seaplane carrier. Because these bad boys will be converted to light carriers next year, for definite. Absolutely, to light carriers next year. Which is brilliant. I prefer to use them as AA fortresses in late games so they aren't useless. I think this is it. I think we really have to take this from a different point of view here. A battleship battle later on is unlikely. The US will probably use its battleships as a protection. Pretty much, yeah. So the way I want to look at this is the battleships. I mean, they have to make it until like 1943 or 44, whatever the year was. So they have to actually make it there. So it's not as if they're not going to be able to make liberal use of their guns until that point. They'll still have 4 guns to the front and to the centre. So that's still 8 battleship guns. That's still some big-ass caliber guns. But the role of the battleship in the Pacific War is really rather redefined. I think how we need to approach them is really as something as a vehicle of utility. If they can actually house our float planes, or potentially even float fighters, but more than likely the Jakes, for example, they'd be very handy in supporting our carriers. They'd be directly able to support our carriers by actually having the ability to run naval search, reconnaissance, ASW missions. Of course, then they'd also still have their guns. They wouldn't be as effective, but they're still capable. They still have armament far and away in excess of a heavy cruiser, so they still would be able to defend the carriers against like surface assets. I think we'll have to approach them as like a utility more than anything. But, okay. What we're going to do then is take a look at the situation over here in Malaya then for the time being. So of course we did see our bombing mission over there at Singapore not go ahead terrifically, but oh well, so is the case. I think what we'll do then is actually increase the altitude of our bombers then to about 15,000 feet. So all K-21-2A Sallies will be doing that. What is actual production of a K-21? So let's go over here then. So aircraft, yep, there we go. Let's take a look. So, MC-21 Sally. Look forward to these guys. I mean, we are producing 3 of them a month. They are super useful. I mean, are you so sure? I don't mean that each one has, like, 88, don't worry. If it had 80, I'd be fucking a lot happier. I meant that all 4 of them in total would have 88, rather than obviously one having 88. I mean, that'd be bloody amazing. That'd actually be larger than any of our fleet carriers. Okay. Right, moving on. So, 25 H6Ks a month, which is really fantastic. I mean, these guys are worth their weight in gold. Supposedly 36 G4M1s a month. I'm actually kind of happy about the increased production here. I think they are quite handy. We'll be able to obviously shut that down and change it over to something later. Right, A-System 2 production, so 67 a month. What was I looking for again? The K-21s, okay. So we actually do have good rowing capacity here. So what's that, 30? Yeah, that's pretty handy. Don't worry about it, my dude. You're alright. I'll let you off this time. Okay. Aircraft production pool. Production this month. I think this is this month so far. Right. Yeah, I'm going to assume probably this month so far, considering it's the 28th of December. Those numbers make sense. Yep, okay. As we go here then... Well, the thing is, when it comes to naval bombardment, having reconnaissance actually does increase the effectiveness of your naval bombardment. But the thing is, naval bombardment we do have to be quite careful with. But you have to bear in mind that obviously we'll have the Yamato and the Musashi. So those super heavy battleships will of course still be available for us to use here. Is it possible to see the chat when you watch the stream in full screen? Probably not. I've considered trying to see if I could like set it up so chat would display here. Don't know how I'd go about that. I don't know, if somebody knows how to do that sort of streaming magic shit, then let me know. But anyhow, moving on. Right. So, 0 production so far, so 47 have been produced so far this month. Ah, here we go, we can actually see our rate here. So 67 a month. I think this is like production yet to be built. Of course, we are not going to produce that much. I did overproduce here. Obviously, we'll be stopping that before it gets out of control. But let's take, for example, the K-21s, which are here. So I'm not producing any more 1Cs, but I am producing, obviously, 2As. So I produce about 51 per month. So, obviously, with the mistake that we suffered, that was... I'd say we've lost possibly in the region... Let's see, so we've had 37 used this month, so that's 37 available. I suppose we can go to our totals to see how many we've lost in totality. So there, Marcella, how you doing, my friend? Not Marcella. However the hell you pronounce it. Right, so... 96. Huge bloody losses. Okay. So, with our total losses there, obviously that's been artificially inflated by a bloody mistake, but if we take a look at that 96, so, in reality... Yeah, in reality we'll be able to replace all of the bombers lost within 2 to 3 months. I know that doesn't seem like great numbers. Obviously those numbers will continuously increase. But it's nothing much. It's nothing much of a setback. It does hurt us in the short term, but we'll be able to build past that. And why do the numbers never align? Not entirely sure. Oh, I think I see me in there a little bit just... Oh well, moving on. So yeah, we're going to run the operations over here then. So let's take a look then. So we're going to have the A620s. They did have a little bit of rest, so at least when the pilots did rest there. So what I'm going to do then is take both of them. So you're going to run at 20,000 feet. This other one's going to run at 15,000 feet, which it already was, which is fine. So they'll run at the same altitude of the actual Ki-21s. Ki-21 2Is, which is good. Now, I do have a Ki-29 the Ki-43 1Bs over here. About 29 of them ready. Ah, right, okay. Tomorrow we'll have one more available to us. So in theory we could have potentially all 30 of them actually ready to head out. Now the thing is, I don't actually bloody produce these anymore, so... Oh well. Okay. So you're actually running at 10,000 feet here. You were in combat air patrol. So, question comes down to what altitude would we run these guys at? I could run them potentially 20,000 feet, which might be the best idea. I think the more fighters we have, if we're trying to have like a 1-to-1 ratio, ideally 2-to-1 ratio of actual bombers, that might be more effective. Which actually does make me wonder, perhaps that is the way forward. Perhaps that... 68, was it, bombers? Perhaps we don't fly all 68, and potentially we fly... Yeah, we might go with that, actually. I think that might be the option we go with, yeah. So let's take a look, then. So we'll take a look at our actual bombers, turn off the Navy. Okay, in terms of morale. Yeah, we'll do that. These guys are going to be set to rest. What we'll do then is obviously take them off target. I'll have them on stand down, actually. Well. Airfield attack, but obviously rest. No, actually that doesn't matter. Okay, that takes their targeting off automatically. There we go. Okay. I think this is the best way we can do things. So, of course, that will allow our other bombers to actually recover. So I'll be flying out with probably something in the region of about 28 to 30, give or take something in that region. Hello there, Raghar. How you doing, my friend? Right. So... yeah, we'll do it like that. So these guys over here, they'll have some time to actually recover, they'll have some time to actually have their numbers replaced. But ideally we'll see their morale increase. But what we'll do then is we'll have the one squadron here, the 14th Sentai, the ones running with 83 morale. I think this is going to be the way we break him. We saw that the good news is actually it looks as though we're within... yeah, we're actually within our aircraft stack level. Or is that when I take... yeah, we're actually within it. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. I didn't watch the stream for some time. Was there some major battles in the meantime? I suppose the major battles really have been over here in the air. We have seen some battles in China. But really we are still, of course, setting up for the South Pacific. This is the major area contention. The first major battle. The one that is actually drawn a lot of his attention. Everyone is running away with their ships, the enemy will not kill them. Well, the thing is, we are pushing him. We've not seen too many ships destroyed, but the thing is, we're trying to keep them alive. But we're going to try and put him in a position to where he has no choice. That's the actual solution here. But we know this is where we are going to see enemy forces really destroyed for the most part. And the question is, what we may actually do is, depending on the situation, is we might even travel down here towards New Zealand and bomb his facilities here in New Zealand, actually. At Auckland, for example. That could be quite nice to do. It would be nice to actually try and soften him up, actually. But if I can actually hit his airfield, or even hit the port, especially the repair facilities, that would be quite good. If I actually weren't to disable his repair facilities, or at least damage them, that would be great. Okay. But yeah, And what we're going to do then in the coming stream, on the coming days really, is we'll set up a operational calendar. And once we have that in place, we'll actually be able to really refine what we're doing here. So at the moment we're kind of throwing stuff at the wall and hoping something sticks at the moment. Not that I say bad thing. Okay. But that would be a consideration, considering it's not too far south from Naval to do so. We do want to secure Norfolk Island. There's Lord Howe Island. It doesn't have an airfield. But it would be nice. I think it could be worthwhile to actually hit the airfield so that Norfolk Island could survive. He does have airfields all over here. But this obviously is his largest one in Auckland. I don't think he will risk his CVs till mid-late 40s when he gets more carriers. Possibly so, but the question is, are we going to give him that opportunity? Of course, he can keep running, which he probably will do. But we can narrow down his options. And the thing is, it doesn't matter to some extent how many carriers he has if we lock the area down with actual bombers, because it becomes then a question of who wins in the end, the aircraft carrier or the unsinkable carrier. And it's going to be the unsinkable carrier if it's properly maintained, properly guarded, and properly looked after. I mean, for example, New Caledonia could in fact be turned into our fortress in the area. And I think that's the way we have to play this. Yeah. I mean, of course, it'll have huge numbers of aircraft, so of course you could have a lot of them obviously dedicated to fighters, but the thing is, if we had additional fighters out here in the area, such as like old A6M2-0s, once we have obviously our new model A6M5s and or A6M3s, whichever one comes first, which is probably going to be A6M5, but yeah, they're still going to be effective, and all we need to do then is really just keep his fighter cover busy until actually our G3s or G4s can actually get through with torpedoes, because this is it. We only have to be lucky once, and we cause major damage to him. Of course, that works in reverse. He only has to be lucky once, and he's hit our carriers. I don't think we'll ever split up Kitabutai to some extent. I think what we'll probably do as well is once we do start moving on the Dutch East Indies, we'll have the light carriers and the escort carriers make their way to join Kitabutai, from which point we could actually take a look at it considering, I don't know, we could actually look at splitting the forces of Kitabutai into Kitabutai 1 and Kitabutai 2. So the first air fleet, second air fleet. We could have then 3 fleet carriers per force, 1 light carrier per force, 1 escort carrier per force. If you cut the Pacific in half, you'll be forced to do something. This is it. We've already seen that it is forcing him to already move. So, in reality, everything is a sideshow at the moment to the Fiji campaign. That is where the battle will be decided. And I think, should things go well, which they look to be, I think everything's really in our favour here in 1941. Yeah. If we cut him here in the South Pacific, it's going to hurt him. Absolutely. And the Dutch East Indies will be taken in time. We'll probably be a little bit delayed here in the Dutch East Indies, which is going to hurt our economy as a whole to an extent, but not as bad as many people fear, really. So at the end of the day, of course, we will be lacking. We won't probably, we won't have the fuel in Japan as early as we probably would like it. But the idea here is, with our focus somewhat diverted to the South Pacific, if this actually pays off and we actually do establish a perimeter over here that is actually somewhat stable, it does mean that the economy is given additional time. Well, this is it. Of course, we would be limited by the actual speed of the carriers. But I think what it'll come down to a point is where speed isn't such a major factor. And we did discuss in one of the previous streams the actual JF41 line, well, the J41 line and the J42 line. Well, the J42 line and the J43 line. No, I don't think he was, and I don't think I was either. I mean, we never started the campaign with this. See, what I like about this campaign is I've learned a lot already, and I've already been thinking of like, okay, so if I was to run this campaign again, what would I do differently? And of course, I think one of the things is, do I regret hitting Pearl Harbor? Not really. I mean, we had a little bit of confusion on the house rules. For example, I didn't hunt down his carriers for way too long, when in reality it was only that on the first turn I couldn't hunt them. So had we been able to hunt them actively from the second turn, third turn, fourth turn, maybe we could have caught them. But that's fine. I'm happy. It's like, it sucks to make mistakes, but hey, that's how things go. And somebody did ask me a question earlier on, like, how... Is there like a way to move supplies automatically? Yes, there is. It is the automatic convoy system. Not used it, so don't ask me how. I think basically how you do it is, for example, you go into, let's say, Kyoto. Is it from Kyoto or is it from Tokyo? Let's have a look. Osaka, Kyoto. Yeah, okay, so they have to base over here at Kyoto Harbor. But basically, I'd wager... You send them to a cargo mission. Oops. Computer control. I think... Okay, let's say I wanted some supplies over here at Sok. I think you do it like that way. See, obviously I'll have to look at that in the future and give people like a more concrete answer. But you don't have to move things individually. I mean, I do because I'm reverse lazy in ways. It's like I can't be asked to learn another method, but yeah, the method I'm using is harder. So it's like, am I really gaining anything? No, not really. The next campaign will be fought with biplanes only. The next war will be fought with sticks and stones. Right. Okay, we do have 5,000 units of oil moving into Japan, so not terribly large amounts there, but at least it is something. We didn't find a submarine here. Yeah, and it is tedious. I mean, one of the things is, it's like, of course, I do... I don't know, I suppose by streaming it, I do go into a lot more detail than I suppose ordinary players would do, because I suppose at the end of the day, it's like, when I'm actually doing this, it's like, I've got... I don't know, so I don't want to toot my own horn, but I don't know what the true number of people, like, unique viewers of this series is, but I'll say like a couple hundred. So let's say, for example, when I was showing here, I've got potentially a couple hundred people that are like, okay, look dude, you missed this, you need to do this, you need to do this. Yeah, pretty much. I don't know what the fuck I am. I'd like to say reverse lazy. But then again, I do have a financial interest in obviously doing this right, so... Oh dear. I enjoy it. I do enjoy it. Now, interestingly, I'm seeing these Chinese troops moving about here, which is very nice, because that would allow them the 4th Independent Mixed Brigade, sorry, Regiment, and to actually move around. It's not a weak unit by any means. It's still 120 assault value, which is, you know, that's quite nice. It would be nice to have them move. It looks as though his forces over here to Wuchao are beginning to move, which is intriguing. I think we could probably take them over here to Wuchao. I'd feel a lot better had we had the entire element, well, the entire division. And that's 316 assault value. I'm probably being a little bit too cautious here. I just don't want to risk things. Wow, the 32nd, sorry, 38th really did fucking move. Holy shit. Yeah, it's not going to take them too long. They have actually moved there pretty quickly. I suppose it is a major road. Clear terrain, clear terrain. Yeah, yeah, it's not going to take us too long to actually catch up at Wuchao. I mean, I don't need to destroy his troops at Wuchao. Obviously, it'd be nice, but we don't need to. It looks as though we're probably moving them to Luchao. He's gaining... Yeah, he's got a lot of force over here at Kukong. It might be that we potentially secure Wuchao and then have them join up over here on the road towards Kukong. So it might be worth having the 104th Division actually march up towards this road here, potentially. Give or take, or even move them this way. Now, we have 3 divisions currently in this area. It could be possible to have them transported navally down through the East China Sea, then towards like Hong Kong, Canton, that sort of area. Do you have a port? You don't, so we can't move there navally. That's a shame. Okay, these units are marching. How are they looking? Making good progress to Xinjiang. Right, march to Xinjiang. What's our progress over here? Right, they're all in combat mode at the moment. '41st Division. I can't remember where we actually transported you from. So we're going to reform the 32nd Division over here at Suzhou. It's good to see that we actually have some light industry here. And obviously they just need some resources to actually produce supply, which is very good. Interesting. I could have another division actually assigned here to the Chengchao offensive. Huh. Hey, it would be nice. Okay. Interestingly enough, he's actually moving his forces back here to Chang. It's a shame that we did lose a Chang. We still have the 34th Division that was quite heavily mauled. And they're making good progress. So I think what we're going to do here then, I mean they are very, I mean that's 100 planned then on Yichang. They will return there. Okay, so we have the 6th Division, the 20th Independent. This is a very powerful force, so I think what we are going to do then is go for a deliberate attack. We can see that the enemy was turning about. So what I'm going to wonder here is, are they going to be in combat mode or are they going to be in movement mode? If they're in movement mode, that's going to be fantastic. We'll be able to really lay upon them like lions upon the lambs. I doubt it though. But they'll still fall. All we need to do is actually force them to retreat out of the area, and that will secure the future of the 34th. It's worrisome because obviously these forces could march south. I mean, the issue is we were forced into a terrible part. Had we been forced onto the other side of the river where the actual highway is, or at least where the road is, we'd be able to move out very quickly. Fortunately not. So it's 460 troops there. I think he's probably aware of what we're attempting to do here. Possibly. The interesting thing is, he doesn't seem to be tempted to stop it, and I suppose I can understand why. We take a look over here then. Yep, so we are going to be hitting the enemy, but it doesn't seem to be displaying river here. So, we'll be able to take this and then cross the river once we're on the other side. I mean, once we take Chengchao, we'll actually have the ability to transport anything up and down this railroad here within a couple of days, which is actually very nice. And what we'll do is we'll actually take advantage of that and really have our forces mobile to an extent. So potentially within a week we can actually have a very large, very well equipped offensive organised. And we need to live our lives upon the rail lines really. It's a shame that this is not a connected rail line. If it was, that would be insane. But unfortunately not. But the good news is, if we can secure all the rail lines, it really does deprive him of a lot of strategic flexibility. It looks as though he has actually left the space here. And they are marching back towards him. They're going to be there fairly quickly. He's definitely, I think what he's probably doing here is really trying to assemble all his Chinese troops. That's what it seems like to me. Okay, so Fusan has been expanded. Really gaining some good pace there. I think it might be worthwhile to expand that to size 10, possibly. We'll see. Which other airfield did I expand? Okay, so the 34th is receiving replacements from Hankow, which is good news. Ah, Shanghai. Where the hell is it? Well, our airfield has been expanded over here, which is very good. Was it the airfield or was it the port? Or was it with the fortification? What the hell did I build? Because it might have been the fortifications. Oh, the fortifications. Okay, size 2. Never mind. Well, stop building fortifications for now. See, what's quite good here is we do have a lot of transports. So in reality, I could shift around forces in the South Pacific pretty quickly. We do actually have quite a few men over here. Not majorly large amounts, but nice amounts nonetheless. I wonder what modern generals do. If they had to fight the Chinese as Japan in World War II, what would they do? What would be their strategic objective to win the war? I suppose the thing is you have to break the enemy's will to fight. I suppose the Chinese were very much propped up by international support. And so the thing is, it's like, I suppose to win the war in China, you would have to win a series of victories in a very short period of time, really before international opinion consolidated on action or on, like, support to a degree. So I think, in my opinion, it's one of these things of where, to win in China, you had to win in a very short period of time. Okay. Right then. We'll take a quick look at the weather reports for next turn. Partly cloudy, clear skies here, partly cloudy. Ideally, that better weather should be nice. But I think what we're going to do over here then is we'll run one squadron of bombers, which is actually going to be very effective because I can actually really go overboard on fighters. So it'd be potentially using... How many zeros would we have? So if I was to launch all my zeros... Sorry, if I was to launch all of these zeros, we'd have 72 ready. So that's a considerable amount of A6 and 2 zeros. If I was to throw the Ka-43-1Bs into the action, that's like potentially 29, maybe 30 next turn. So yeah, that's like over 100. Yeah, you look at that, that's over 100 fighters. That's a lot of fighters. That's a whole lot of tamale. Hot, hot tamale, basically. Indeed. Right. Yeah, that's what we'll go for. We did run the G-Freeze. The G-Freeze did do a lot of damage, but I think we don't have that luxury again. Yeah, pretty much. It's an interesting question, though, nonetheless. But I think what we're going to do here is call the stream to an end, and in the next session, probably tomorrow at some point over there. Okay, answer this quick question. Are you going to put a combat patrol over Mersing? He keeps sending unescorted bombs there. Maybe. Is there a list for all games of this kind? Well, I mean, you have Grigsby's one in the Pacific, one in the West, one in the East. There's Bomb in the Reich. Some other ones out there as well, like some older games. But if you head over to Matrix Games, they have a pretty nice catalogue. But of course, there's more games. But I mean, these I'd say that one in the Pacific's definitely the best. Okay. But yeah, we'll call the stream to an end here. And if you guys have further questions, you can, of course, find me in the Discord. Of course, you need to ask for your role, but you'll be able to go and find it there. So until next time, thank you so very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I do very much look forward to the next episode. Tenno Haika Banzai. Goodbye for now.